Howdy again everyone. Now, a surprisingly rare lens to find on the market today is a fisheye optic which covers full frame, not just aps-c, camera sensors, so it's refreshing to see 7Artisans popping one onto the market for us, the AF 10mm f2.5 Fisheye MAX FF, which has autofocus, and if you don't know what a fisheye lens does, well, it's this. Quite simple really. An image paints 1,000 words. Images with huge barrel distortion and an incredibly wide angle of 185 degrees diagonally are blasted into your camera by this lens. It's actually quite tricky to compose a fisheye image because they're just all background, really, but when you get it right, they carry a serious creative punch, and don't bother trying to get that effect nearly as good in editing. And this one is marked as being 10mm, which means that it is super wide. Its projection is slightly less bulbous than some other 14 or 15mm fisheye lenses, but it covers a wider field of view horizontally. This lens really is unbelievably wide. Autofocus is a nice little bonus feature, as well as is the slightly brighter maximum aperture of f2.5, which is useful for shooting indoors and in other darker situations, as well as for getting out of focus backgrounds for some cool effect when shooting close to your subject. I'll tell you right off the bat, it's not a perfect lens, but I did have a blast testing this one. The lens will be for Sony E, Nikon Z and L mount camera systems, all full frame, and it's very reasonably priced at only $449 US. I'd like to thank 7Artisans for sending me a copy of this lens for testing, although as usual this will be a totally independent review. Let's take a look at its build quality first. 7Artisans have upped their game here. Solid, metallic build quality and a decent aesthetic design combine to make this lens good looking and easy to handle, and it has a good number of features as well. It weighs 504 grams or a bit over a pound, so it does have a bit of weight to it though. The rear mount is made of metal too, and we see a weather sealing gasket here, as well as a USB-C port for future firmware updates. Then we get an aperture ring with gentle clicks to it at every third of an f-stop. I wish it had a firmer click between A mode and f16 though, to prevent accidental changes. On the side we get an auto manual focus switch and two customizable focus hold buttons. The second button can be set for A to B focusing and focus mode switching, not functions which many photographers are likely to use much, but still they are there if you want to mess around with them. In front of all that comes a metallic manual focus ring which turns beautifully smoothly and is electronically coupled with the lens's focus motor. As you change focus, you do get some noticeable focus breathing though, as you can see here. When it comes to autofocus, the lens focuses silently and accurately. In both single shot and continuous autofocus modes, it only works averagely quickly, but you'll never notice any slowness in real life because the depth of field of fisheye lenses is so huge to start with. In front of everything else comes a non-removable metal hood, followed by that beautiful bulbous front glass element. Keep it clean and don't get it scratched. Finally comes the lens hood, which is made of plastic and fits snug and securely onto the front. I had no worries that it might fall off in my camera bag or anything. The lens does not have image stabilization and it is not possible to use filters with it. Overall though, the lens is tough and well designed and lots of fun to use. Alright, let's look at image quality now. I'll be testing the lens on my Sony a7CR with its full frame 61 megapixel sensor. In-camera corrections are turned on for these tests. 42 megapixel results are in the description below for anyone who wants those. At f2.5 in the middle of the image, we see stupendous sharpness and great contrast right away. Let's look in the corners. Oh, things are not so good there. We see darkness and softness, although chromatic aberration isn't too strong. Interestingly, stop down to just f2.8 for a noticeable little improvement. f4 looks pretty good here, although the very furthest edges are still soft. At f5.6, f8 and f11, that great sharpness eventually creeps into the furthest corners as well, and I'm pleased to say that chromatic aberration remains surprisingly low here. Here is f16, where you can see the image getting noticeably softer due to diffraction. Alright, so straight from f2.5, the lens offers excellent sharpness and contrast in the middle of your images, and if you stop down a bit, the corners improve quite well. It's a bit of a shame about those corners at the brightest apertures, but you can't have it all at this price point, and remember, we were testing at 61 megapixels, which is pretty intense. Also, this performance is a nice improvement over 7Artisans' previous 10mm f2.8 manual focus fisheye lens, so it is nice to see them working on their optics. This lens can focus down to a nice close 15 centimeters. The good news is that close-up image quality in the middle remains pretty sharp, straight from f2.5, although there's some purple color fringing here. At f2.8 it's reduced, and at f4 close-up image quality is now perfect. Let's see how well the lens works against bright lights. At f2.8 we do get an average amount of flaring and glaring here. I've seen better and I've seen worse. While we're working in the dark, let's take a look at chroma levels. In the image corners at f2.8, bright points of light see quite a bit of smearing here, so that's definitely a weakness, which will be an annoyance to astrophotographers. Stop down to f2.8 and it's reduced, and at f4 it's gone. Let's zoom out now and look for sun stars. At f8 they are beginning to appear, at f11 and f16 they get lovely and strong. And finally, let's take a look at the quality of its bokeh. This thing's out of focus backgrounds are crazy. They're mostly quite smooth, although some backgrounds in the middle distance can get a little nervous sometimes. Overall, this is not a perfect lens, but I think it's a very good one. There's some corner softness at the brightest apertures and some chroma smearing as well if you're shooting on a high resolution camera, but apart from that, it's actually really fun and easy to use with its autofocus and crazy images. The potential for close-up fisheye pictures and the extra bright maximum aperture are super enjoyable, and its images do have a great punch of contrast to them. Its price is pretty reasonable for an autofocus option as well, and so, in my book, it definitely comes recommended. Have you ever thought to yourself, boy, Chris just doesn't create enough content for me? Or ever wondered if you can support this channel in the work that I do? Or even thought both of those things? Well, the answer is in the description down below in the form of my Patreon page or channel memberships, where channel supporters can get all kinds of exclusive bonus content, as well as a warm, fuzzy feeling inside for helping to keep things trucking on in my lens testing laboratory here. Thanks to all my current supporters for your help, and ciao for now.